So, we're calling on stage Lasbery Oludimu, Director of Legal Services in Local. Please a round of applause for her. Hello, Lasbery.
Good afternoon. I thought you were going to have a panel too. Wow.
This chat is just between me and you. Very well. Yes. Aim of this discussion is to discuss growth in an economic winter.
Okay.
To give a brief breakdown of what we're going to do is to discuss how the Nigerian fintech sector is dealing with the current economic downturn, and also look at ways to grow in such situation, and also look at discuss something crypto related and how you're surviving in this winter. So to go straight to the point, is it possible to grow in a recession? If true, how should fintech explain this?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So you're just going to be very easy on me because I'm the only one sitting here, right? This is not a panel. Okay. I would say yes. At the same time, I would say it's very difficult. Okay, because you don't have all the resources at your disposal. There are different factors fighting you, like you're contending with different factors. At the same time, there are businesses within the sector that have survived, so I have to say yes. Okay, so if for a business to survive in this season, fun season, right? One thing you need to do is don't put a pause on innovation, okay? Because you're selling to a market, and you're not the only person selling that product. There are other people selling that product. So if you have to grow, if you have to weather the storm, you have to be unique. You have to be present. People need to see you as a person or a business that is bringing more to the table. Okay, so you should not put a stop to innovation. We can see from what happened with Apple. Apple invested so much money on research and development. Why? Because they want to roll out products. They want to be, they want people to know they are still there. They want people to know they still exist and they are very strong, notwithstanding the climate. And so for so many of us that have Apple phones, that have iPhones, my sister told me, I'm not going to buy an iPhone again. I asked her why, and she said, because I just got this phone like 6 months ago, and now there is iPhone 13, not just 14, there is iPhone 13 Pro Max, and a few months later, there is iPhone 14. So for her, she felt she was trendy, but within a few months, she found out that, guy, people have gone beyond your iPhone 12 and all that. So they keep on innovating. So if you have to survive, if you have to thrive through this period, you need to ensure that you don't take your eyes off innovation. You need to bring in more products. Another thing people do, once there is a market, once there is a winter, people do reduce their marketing budget. That's fine. But at the same time, for you to weather the storm, you need to be present, and you also need to, people need to know that you still exist. Okay. If you're not doing marketing again, people will think the flood has carried you, right? So you need to make people believe that you're still where you are and you're present. But another thing, the lead speaker that spoke earlier mentioned a brand, sporty brand. They actually changed their storyline during COVID. If you have watched their advert, so their brand is known with sports, like, and you can't do sports alone. You do sports in stadiums together with a group and all that. But they came up with this. Adverts where they showed people doing exercise at the hallway, at the garage, in their bedroom, in the kitchen, and they said, you may not be playing you may not be playing together, you may not be playing for a giant crowd, but you're playing for the world. And people picked up that people were actually ordering their products to do exercise at home. So that's the power of marketing. Don't reduce your budget on marketing, but try to change your story to suit your audience and also to suit the moment. Like, so instead of doing away with your marketing, try and change your story to suit the moment. Then the last thing I'll talk about is during winter, people focus on surviving, right? So many entities, so many businesses do activate, I'll call it their survival mode, instead of activating their scaling mode. So they are focused on surviving, they are focused on getting out of that season without considering, okay, how do we even do our best? How do we try to scale within this season? So for what I would tell businesses here, during the winter, please don't focus on surviving because that's going to limit your strength, but focus on scaling. And I think all at the end of it was but it's very difficult, I have to admit that.
So we should believe, fear that.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if everybody will agree with that, but second question is about crypto space.
Okay.
And it's safe to say that crypto has been the hardest industry with regards to fintech relations, and talk about crypto exchanges and the likes of which that is one of them. So the story was only worse with the incidents of SBF, FX. So I think people have lost it. Personally, I won't lie to you. I've lost money. So the question now is how crypto companies, how you guys handling this?
Okay, so that's a reasonable. The motion is right? So I'm going to answer the question in two ways. How is the crypto space handling it, and how is Yellow Card handling it? Okay, and before I will go into the question, I know we've actually sent out an email before now saying that we're not Yellow Card Financial, we don't have any exposure. Okay, so we have the liquidity to meet our customers' needs and to scale. A few months back, we raised $40 million and our finances are intact. And we have a lot of liquidity to meet our customers' needs and all that. So that's by the way. So many people were affected. Okay, so many exchanges were affected. That's not, no doubt about it. So for those that are affected, most of them have actually activated their survival mode. So for them, you're going to see some layoff, okay, because they want to manage the limited resources they have. And another thing we should also know, so this period, I bet if I ask any of us here, would you like to invest in a crypto business, you definitely tell me no. Or you can say, okay, let me think about it. Because investors have actually gone back to their drawing board to review their investments and also try to understand what their conviction was when they invested. So this is like a cooling time for them. They want to understand the space more. So now it will be very difficult to respond in the crypto business. So those ones that were affected is also, that's the first bucket. The second bucket, the ones that are not able to raise funds within this period. So those ones it will be difficult for them to scale. But for the third bucket, which I believe Yellow Card will fall in, um, is a moment to scale because there are so many people dropping by the wayside. And because we're positioned, we're equipped, we're properly equipped financially to scale. This is a time where we pick up those customers that they leave by the wayside. Okay, it's also a time to bring up products to serve those customers. For those of them that are going to lay off their engineers, it's also a time to pick up the talent. So for us, Yellow Card, this is a scaling moment. Recently, we pushed out a product, Yellow Pay. We're not stopping at that. Before the end of first quarter of next year, we have about 2 to 3 other products we are pushing out. So if I say it's a time for us to scale within business, and it's actually a time for us to scale, the FTX issue is not going to hold us back because we are prepared and we are positioned to do more.
Oh, that's great. So I have 2 questions leading from what you said about customer fit of users on your platform and layoffs. So the first question on users, how do you increase users fit in your platform? Because the general talk about crypto, so the yellow card doesn't change the fact that the yellow card is a crypto exchange. So how do you engage users? Because we're talking about growth, and growth is more or less old customers plus new customers equals to growth. So how do you retain those that are there and also acquire new ones?
Okay, thank you. I think I will start by telling us a little about conviction. Like, you can't be, you need to understand something for you to have that conviction. Those of our brothers in the north, they have this ideology because somebody sold it to them, and for them they understand it and they are willing to give in their lives. So for us, Yellow Card, what we believe in is we need to educate our users, and at this point is very, very critical. We're not saying come and invest in the product. Rather, we're saying this is the product we have, this is the problem it can solve for you, and you will be the one to make that decision. Okay, I want to explore these services, right? So one thing we're doing this time is to ensure we educate our users. And we do this by having several webinars where we just talk about financial literacy. And if you go to our app, you also see Yellow Card Academy. The essence of having Yellow Card Academy is to educate our users because we want them to understand the product. We want them to appreciate the services. We want them to know how it can solve their financial problems. And if you educate, so, one of the guest speakers or the panelists talked about content marketing. So it's way beyond the product. It has to do with the problem, the content of that product, what that product can do. So one thing we're focusing on now is to educate our users. The second thing is to give real value. So if we're building a product, we're not just going to roll out anything because we want to roll out a product, but we want to ensure we roll out something that will solve a problem. And Yellow Card is not all about an exchange platform. There are other building features in Yellow Card that can solve other financial problems. The guy here, our author, talked about having your product as an operating system, and I picked it up. Okay, it means your product, if somebody comes to your app, there is an opportunity to get problems solved, not just one problem. Okay, but you have other things you can take advantage of once you come to that app, not just a place where you come and buy and sell crypto. We have actually moved beyond buying and selling crypto in Yellow Card. There are other services that are built into the exchange platform. So one thing I would say, we're educating our users. Secondly, we're providing real value, where we're solving problems. And another thing we're doing in terms of building faith, the panelists talked about human to human. You're not just selling the product you're selling the product to a person. And in that way, it pays if you can have that contact with the person. So another thing we're doing at Yellow Card is to put a face to our products. Okay, that also builds consumer faith.
Yeah. So that's a lot, and I believe that's something too that was also mentioned from the last panel session where Isaac specifically mentioned content marketing and communicating your stage, like communicating to the customer at the point of their needs, communicating the problems, the solutions to those problems and all. And I believe that also works too because I'm convinced that having customers know what to win on the same way I'm achieving operational goals, having your customers understand that okay, this is what's happening, this is what we're going to if they downtime, okay, this is why it's happening also. Although they don't necessarily need all that information, they understand that the way is calming in a time like this is actually important.
Exactly. If I may add something, we're dealing with people's funds, and if I want to withdraw money and it fails, I'll start thinking, oh, maybe these guys don't have funds within their system. But if you communicate to them that we're going to have maintenance within this period, the person will say, okay, these guys are still good. So communication is key. Okay, I would say education and communicate properly.
Right. So we're running out of time, but I just have 3 more questions, and I just wanted to brief with it. So on layoffs, I'm back to you. Do you think, because Meta did its own layoff, everybody was like, everybody, Twitter, Amazon, I don't know if they've done that already. So they're doing massive layoffs. Do you think layoff is the only way to sustain a business in times like this, or the other way?
Okay, I would say layoff is the famous way. Okay, because that's what we see people do, that's what we see businesses do. But the problem I have with layoffs, businesses don't appreciate the fact that when the businesses come up again, they spend more than they have saved. Okay, so it shows that layoff is not the best approach. It might get an immediate result because it's going to reduce the cost per person down. But at the same time, if your business has to scale, if you're coming back to the market, you need those people. And at the same time, it's going to take you more cost to hire, to train, and there will also be some low productivity because those new people need time to grow into the organization. They need to understand the policies, they need to understand the mission, they need to understand the vision of the business. So layoff, to me, fine, is going to give an immediate solution, but there are other things you can explore. There is also a business that instead of laying off, they redeployed their workers. And when business kicked off, everybody went to their former roles. Then other people have also explored having a cut on the salary, because if you have to retain those guys, you need to have a conversation with them. So if I'm a CEO, I would rather prefer to have a conversation with my employees and see if they can take a reduced pay, maybe over a period. Then when things get better, we can go back to the normal pay. Just because I don't want to lose them.
So, picking from that, I was trying to touch on revenue. So, I was saying that the revenue in periods like this necessarily go down for every business. And do you think that by reducing, cutting down salaries, it doesn't really speak well to the fact that the company is growing? Because we're actually talking about growth.
Okay, my focus really is on businesses in trouble. Okay, if your business is not in trouble, you don't have any reason laying off. Yellow Card, we haven't laid off anybody. In fact, we have absorbed some engineers that were laid off in one African country, about 9 of them, because we needed to have more engineers to build more products. So laying off is for businesses in trouble, businesses that are trying to survive. But business that's still liquid, business that's still have the financial strength. They don't have any business laying off because they still have the financial capability to sustain those employees. So there's no need laying off because it's not going to add to your profitability. You're still doing business, and even when you want to recruit new people, you tend to spend more. So why lay off?
So thank you for that. So finally, in 1 minute, when do you see this winter ending? Yes, a projection for that.
Okay, I know it's been said that every 8 to 10 years there is usually an economic winter, right? And the same, the proposition really also states that within 1 to 3 years, the businesses come up again. So you have 8 to 10 years, every 8 to 10 years you experience something like this. Then it takes about a year to 3 for businesses, for the economy to come up again. So what I would say is, let's calculate when the winter started. How long have we spent? And I would say very soon, I think the market will bounce back.
It's not starting like very soon.
No. I said within 8 to 10 years,
Yes.
there is always an economic winter.
Okay.
So as we are experiencing it now, let's just think of another 8 to 10 years, this same thing will also happen again. But it takes about 1 to 3 years for businesses, for the economy to pick up again. So if we need to find out when this economy will pick up again, we need to find out when the winter started. And we'll calculate the 1 to 3 years and we'll say, okay, by this time, we should be fine. So for me, I will say very soon.
Very soon.
Yeah.
Very soon, we believe it's going to happen. Very soon, Jesus is coming. Very soon, very soon, the recession will be over. And we'll have smiles on our faces once again. So thank you for this session. Thank you, Lasberry, for being this with me. It was an honor to speak with you.